Hey, all my scrappy friends. Welcome back to my December daily. We are doing day 17, and unfortunately, yes, this is the re-edited, re-voiceover version of this video because for some reason, my computer only processed 3 minutes of this. Said it did 18. I don't know what happened. Maybe the storage on my computer was full and it just didn't. I don't know. So we're redoing it. Gotta love that. I was finally like ahead almost a week in editing and like feeling like I could like get this YouTube thing under control between my two channels. And well, you know, it just never works out, right? All right, so day 17. This is inspired by Lail by Mail. I love her stuff. I love rewatching her lives because her lives are pretty long, so I don't have time to just sit there and watch them. But I do love watching how she puts her list together and the way she just memory keeps. It's very different from a lot of other people, but especially her December dailies. So this is inspired by her. Pretty down to the T, I believe. Other than obviously just using different supplies and all that kind of stuff. So the red and like a cream backtrack paper is from the Pattern Papers. This year, I believe. Yep. And then this is just my mother's Christmas party on, a random Sunday. Which is normally different. So I definitely wanted to tell a little bit more on this story. We always try and get a family picture by her tree. I don't know why we try and do it from the tree, because then you can only usually see the star. But this year we had to celebrate Christmas a little bit earlier in the season as my sister and her family went on a cruise over Christmas. So it definitely jumbled up our Christmas routine. Usually this is usually done on Christmas Day. But you know what? We made it work and we had a fabulous time. We played Family Feud, we played games, and now that the kids are getting older, obviously presents are getting fewer, and so you got to kind of make time, and then the older kids just sit on their phones or games anyways. So I've come up with doing games pretty much so that we pass the time and have a little bit more family time instead, and it was super fun. But I had quite a few pictures that I wanted to include, and so I went through and tried to find something that would include a few more pictures and still have like pockets. Now, there aren't a lot that I would change about this, but there are a few things that I would change about this. I would ultimately make it a regular flip out like I normally do instead of trying to adhere this to the paper. You'll see here when I do the flip out or the flip up or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. That Lail by Mail had like, she did her flip out where it was like connected to the paper. And that just, my paper was really thick. Obviously we know that Ellie's papers are extremely thick, and it just made it a little bit, I don't know I don't know, like it would just lift. So you'll kind of see it here. It kind of bows. It doesn't do it as much when you connected it to another paper, when I did the back side of this. But that's the only thing I would change there. And then my part, when I did the pockets on the inside, which you'll see quite a few spots later, I would have just made my pockets actual pockets. I would have made a front and a back, like actually made them like envelope pockets, so that I could have fit more pictures in there because it was very tight. Sorry about my head, guys. I had to make sure that I was not cutting into that heart. So, all right. So right here, I loved this paper. This paper was last year, I believe. Yes, I believe it was last year because I didn't buy any of this type of paper this year. And for me, obviously, family is what matters. These times are definitely what matters. So I wanted this to be the front. Just using my craft knife to cut around that heart. I am doing this before I put my background paper in, or the paper to the back side of this, just because, again, those papers are pretty thick, and I had lots of papers out trying to figure out what I was going to use. And I figured trying to cut through two of them at one time would be a little tough. So I was like, whatever, I'll just cut it twice. It would probably be a little bit of a time saver to do it all at one time. But yeah, I was just nervous about that for some reason. So it is what it is. You can do it your way and I can do it my way, right? People are probably like, what did you do? Along with the first picture, like I went to go cut that first paper or picture, and I wanted it to have a white mat. Well, my photo paper was white, and I was like, as soon as I cut the first side, I'm like, oh, you could have just matted it. So you didn't need to waste the paper. And I just forgot. And at that point, it is what it is. You just mat the picture. All right, using a double side adhesive for this because we are running through the tape adhesive blah, right now. I tell ya, I think I'm on my third one. I don't remember if this was the video that I talk about it or if it's my next video about doing a spread at the end of this about numbers and like how much supplies I've used and all that kind of stuff. But it would be a fun page. And then just sticking this down, and again, using my craft knife to go around that because I wanted that heart to be the opening pretty much to this page. So that is what I am doing now. And obviously this time it goes pretty quick as the line is already there. So I just had to really follow that line and make sure I was getting through that second piece of paper. So it, like, as you can see here, it takes me 2 seconds really to get this part done. I know sometimes people are pretty apprehensive about using their craft knife, but this was a pretty easy shape to cut out. So really, I just had to make sure that I was getting through that. So there we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to bring in my scoreboard and score this at, I think I did a 1/2 inch, either a 1/2 inch or no, it's not a 1/2 inch, it's the 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch. I wanted to score that because I definitely needed that fold there. And as you can see, it is thick. I mean, 2 of those papers together, that's thick. And maybe I could have just done, if I would have thought about it, I would have just left maybe the 1/4 inch of not the background paper. Maybe that would work. There you go. I didn't think about that earlier. I didn't even think about that in my last video, but I could have just left that 1/4 inch, and so I didn't have to cut through, or I didn't have to make the score through 2 pieces of paper, and maybe it would have been a lot easier. So maybe if you do this, you can leave that back. And I just figured it would be easier to line everything up doing it this way. So, but again, leave that 1/4 inch off and maybe they would bend. But honestly, as the page went on and I bent it more and more, and for the most part, this is going to stay closed anyways in the album. So, I did use tape adhesive with liquid adhesive just to make sure. I knew that, like, I wanted the liquid adhesive for how strong it is, but I also wanted the instant stick of the tape adhesive. So I did both. Also, doing the liquid adhesive allows you sometimes just a little bit of time to move it around, but probably not in this instance. So, but otherwise, it really wasn't that serious. Like, but you are going to see when I open this, it kind of bows that back paper. Let's see. Right. Oh, come on, open it up. There we go. Like, I have to, yeah. It doesn't, it's not that bad. Yeah, you can't even see it here. So, All right, so the next step is just going to put a label sticker on that large picture with just a little bit about the night and all that kind of stuff, just to say that it is Christmas at Mom's and, you know, the normal, no stories here, the normal stuff. Oh, yeah, so here I am. I am just writing out everything as I just didn't want to wait for me to go back to the computer and use the Mac-O sticker paper or anything. Generally, I'm not a super big fan of my handwriting like this. I usually make mistakes, but I think at the end of this project, I'm just like trying to get it done, right? All right, so here are the pockets. I did make them about 3x4. I think they were just a little bit less than about 3x4 because this one wouldn't fit up here. But I also knew that this was the lower flap goes over there we go, goes over the top flap. So even if it showed, it wouldn't show type thing when it's closed. I just used the very thin red line tape, and then unfortunately, that made it just super tight. And I was hoping to get more pictures into these pockets from the night, and that's just not going to work. I had to cut these ones down already enough, and yeah, so that is the one thing that I would change, is I would actually make them pockets, like a whole pocket to put down, or I would create little sides where they could pop up a little bit so that we would get a little bit more space in those. So I did make these with little tabs on them though, because so that people would know that you can pull them out. There is something in there. Generally people probably know if there's a pocket and you can see them, but see, I'm like, ooh, that's not even gonna fit. So we cut these down quite significantly. Thank goodness there was I'm gonna cut it down. I think I'm gonna cut it down one more time. But yeah, look at how tight that is. And then I'm like in there like trying to loosen it up, and it's like, nope. So I'll cut it down one more time. So yeah, that's about the only thing that I think I would change about this. Again, that is my error, not design error. I just thought that I could have just made the picture smaller too. I mean, you can just make the picture smaller. I just like bigger pictures. So, and I had already printed them out on 3x4 thinking they would be fitting. So again, just print your picture smaller. That would make a lot of sense too, right? All right. The last thing, one of the last things that I will do here is I will cut out some grid paper with my tag dies, so that, first I'm going to number my project wrong. I put day 19 on this because I had originally done day 18 right before this, and because I go out of order. Maybe if I just didn't go out of order, but I wanted to get one project done that was super easy. You'll see next that day 18 is pretty easy. So I was just in that mode, and yeah, this is actually day 17. And so I'll figure that out later. Don't worry about it. I'll be like, wait a minute, this is not 19. But yeah, so I'm going to cut some grid paper out that I just had laying around. Normally I try and cut up my Becky Higgins 4x6 cards that I have, laying around from when I was obsessed with Project Life cards, way back when. What was that, like 03? No, 05, somewhere in there, 07. Anyways, but her grid pattern was a bit dark for some reason for this spread, I felt like. So I just had some random grid paper that I had probably printed out a long time ago, used those scraps, and printed it out, or die cutted it out from that. These die cuts are just from L Studio. Nothing crazy, nothing. I like their nesting dies, but you can get nesting dies from just about any place, even like Amazon. So it just makes it pretty quick and easy. So again, wrote out my journaling. Look at me go. And then just talked about, I had a few stories that I wanted to tell. One about why we had to do Christmas early this year, because all of my other December dailies I've done, you'll see that this is actually usually on the day of Christmas. So a little different, makes my album a little different. And to my nephew, box that I put his present in came in a mini muffin box, and he was so excited that he had got mini muffins, and really I was like, no bro, open it. And he had gotten his goggles for snowboarding, but you know, teenagers and their snacks, it was quite funny. Which reminds me, I need to go and get him some mini muffins and surprise him, because obviously he likes those. So and then just a little outline, because outline helps everything. And that will just about finish that part up. Again, like I said, I was just talking about how putting the story down now. I am going to finish those tags off, because we can't have any naked tag holes, with just red and white twine and gold twine, just to incorporate that gold again, that I had just put in the tabs, and then on the back, on the background paper. This red background paper also was from last year. I think the same year, because the reds match. And I can't think of what I was going to say there. Anyways, yes, incorporating the gold. Because we can't have any naked tag dye holes, right? And then this is where I will notice that I put the 19 instead of the 17, and thank goodness for a this is where I noticed, see, because I had already done 18. There's my sneak peek of 18. But yeah, thank goodness for my adhesive eraser for that, so that it took a lot of that adhesive off. Yes, the 17 was going to cover a lot of it, but obviously a 7 and a 9 are completely different size. So that adhesive eraser works magic, even on this matte paper that likes to just hold on to. I was afraid that actually this wouldn't come up, because that matte photo paper just it's just so porous to hold the ink. I just didn't think that it was going to come off. But if you don't have one of these, get yourself one of these. So, especially for people that, make 1.5 million mistakes in this project. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have made it this far, I would love for you to put a 17 in the comments below. And I want to thank you all for leaving so many encouraging comments. And you guys keep working on those albums too. We're all so close. Talk to you soon.